Hello, and welcome to part 2 of coordinate geometry. So, in the last video, we were learning how to read coordinates. So in the last video, in part 1, if you haven't watched it, go back and watch that first. I was drawing dots on this map here, essentially, this XY axis. Remember that the one going across is the X axis, and the one going up and down is the Y axis. Okay, so in the last lesson we were learning how to read points. Now I'm going to get you to practice plotting points, which means that I am going to give you coordinates. So for example, I will give you coordinates like 3 and 4. And I want you to find and put a dot where this coordinate is on this XY axis. So the first thing, when we look at the coordinates, these are the coordinates here, okay? The first thing we do is we write a little X above the first one and a little Y above the second. Remember, X comes before Y in the alphabet. So X is the first number and Y is the second. X comes before Y, all right? So the first number, in this case, it's number 3. That is the number that we're going to look for on the X axis. And Y, the second number, that's 4, we're going to look for that number on the Y axis. So the way I do it is I start with the first number, okay? And I'm going to draw it onto the XY axis, but you don't have to draw it when you're doing this yourself. Okay. Here's how I do it. I always start at 0, 0. I always start in the middle here. And the first thing I do is I go to the first number. So the first number is 3. Okay. It's plus 3. It's a positive 3. So I go to that number. So my finger, imagine this blue line is actually my finger. So I go out to 3, and then I look at the Y number. And the Y number here is 4. It's plus 4, which means we're going up. If it's plus, we're going up. If it's negative, we're going down. So here we're going up, okay? So we go up from here all the way until we are level with 4. See how we're level with 4 on the Y axis? Now we have found our point. This is the point 3 and 4. So that's how I do it, and I'll do it again so that you can see it again. So if I pick a different number, if I pick -2 and -4, so there are coordinates. The first thing I do, I always go X and Y. All right. Now, what I do next is I get my finger. In this case, I'm going to just use the blue pen, okay? And I start in the middle. I start in the middle at 0, 0. And I go to -2 on the x-axis. So I go out to -2 on the x-axis. So on the x-axis, which is the one going from the left to the right, the one going across, if you're going to the left, you are going into the negative numbers. If you're going to the right, you're going to the positive numbers. So here, our first number is -2. So we go out to -2, and then we go down until we are level with -4. So here we are level with -4. So I'll get my yellow marker and I'll put a dot here. And that point is that point there. Okay? So that is how you draw or how you plot. Plot means to place. So that is how you plot points on an XY axis. You always start in the middle and you go along the x-axis first, and then you go either down or you go up. So I am now going to write a couple of different coordinates I'll just make them up right now. So I'm going to write down the coordinates 1 and 3. And I'm going to write down the coordinates 7 and 2. And also the coordinates -3 and 7. -2 and -4. 3 and -8. And -4 and -10. So these coordinates here, I want you to plot these coordinates onto an XY axis. Now, if you don't have a graph like this one here, all you need to do, let me just show you what you need to do, okay? All you need to do is, I'm just going to rub this out to make a little bit of space, is get your copybooks. And it's always best if you have a maths copy, but if you don't worry, okay? So what you do is, if you don't have graph paper and you don't have an XY axis like I have here, what you do is you just get your ruler and you just draw a straight line down and you draw a straight line across. And then you put in the numbers, and you can copy the numbers off the screen if you want. They'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, -6, and so on. They keep going. And then you're going up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And you're going down -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, -6, -7, -8. And in the middle is 0, 0. Okay, so you don't have to draw it perfectly. So I'll do, for example, these points here, I'll draw them on my makeshift graph. So I have 3 and 4, so I go out to 3, and then I go up to 4. So that's my point there. That's 3 and 4. And it's not perfect, but it's close enough, and that's all I want at the minute. And now the next one, -2 and -4. I go out to -2 here, and then I go down to -4. And that's that point there. Again, it's not as perfect as this graph here on the left, but it does the trick. So yeah, that's your homework, is to plot these points and to send me a picture when you have an XY axis with all of these points. And you can label them A, B, C, D, E, and F. So you can label it all of those, okay? All right, see you later.